Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Talking TVL. Happy Thursday, Peyton's favorite day of the work week. I have thoroughly enjoyed the weather these last few days. On Tuesday, my sister and I went to the Big Spring Park. It felt like a big Hallmark movie scene, let me tell you. The lawn was packed with people having picnics, painting dates. Families were riding their bikes, walking dogs, going on runs. It was truly a vibe. And it was a great day yesterday as well. But as far as TVL is concerned, okay? It was a great day yesterday, but an even better day today. However, before I tell you who's coming on the show, I want to play an interview that we showed yesterday on the show with Don Gardner. He's a local man who sat down with Peyton to share his life journey of dealing with OL. Doctors told his parents that he wouldn't be able to live past 3 months, but hey, listen, by the grace of our good Father, okay? He is now 66 years old, and he's got so much light, so much life and energy to share with the world, and we are going to share it with you right here.
We first met at a baseball game. You remember that?
Yes, I think it was a couple of years ago, and then we ran into each other again this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're best friends at this point, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I want to start in general because I've done some research about your condition, but for people who don't know, tell me a little bit about OI type 3 and what a day in the life looks like for somebody with your condition.
Well, OI stands for osteogenesis imperfecta. Osteo is for bone, genesis is in the beginning. It's hereditary. You can't catch it from somebody. Imperfecta, of course, just a Latin for imperfect. People with OI have a tendency, I've heard some people say they have had up to more than 100 fractures. I kind of lost count because fractures is kind of really not a lot of fun to count. One of the things, the reason it's so hard to keep count, is a lot of times things like rib fractures, coughing or sneezing really hard or something could crack a rib. But basically, you just learn to accommodate and not to do things that aggravate it.
A condition like that, especially in the late 1950s, meant for a poor prognosis.
Doctors told your parents you likely weren't going to live past 3 months, and now you're 66 years old. How does that happen? What have reactions been from people and even yourself?
Yeah, when I was born, they told my parents that I would not live to be 3 months old. And I don't think my parents ever accepted that. And I'll tell you this, too. The thing that's most amazing to me about this, when I was born, my parents got married very young. And when I was born, my mother was 1 month shy of her 19th birthday. Now, that's young. To be raising a child, and I was the oldest, raising a child with a disability.
One thing she felt Dawn could do, though, was swim.
In the pool, if you lose your balance and you fall, so what? You're in the water.
Yeah.
The water catches you. So it basically works your whole body.
That physical exercise, adding years, even decades to his life. And then things got even more interesting.
I had been swimming at various places. One day I got an email. The email said, "Can you swim 21 miles in 4 months?" And I'm like, who knows? But I'm like, let's find out.
Sure.
And so I signed up, I did it. I didn't do 21, I did 32. And so I just started keeping a log, a journal. My background is in engineering, so I created a spreadsheet. That's what engineers do. And so I created a spreadsheet. I have been updating that. And since I started 13 years ago, I'm now at 1,320 miles.
Oh, my word. 1,300 miles. Do you amaze yourself?
Sometimes. Every now and then I get people that say really kind things, and they're really encouraging, and that really, I cannot tell you how much that means. We're always looking out, and we don't see ourselves the way everybody else sees us.
Dawn does notice a difference, though, when around others with OI, how his body has kept up the fight, in part because of his mother's persistence.
I gotta tell you, Peyton, there's many times that I go to these OI conferences, and I see people like myself who are in power wheelchairs, and I'm walking, and I owe that to her. She insisted. You know how parents and kids argue sometimes? I think we probably argued more about physical therapy and me doing my exercises and working on walking. And now, years later, it had become such an ingrained habit that it's carried over to my adult life.
But above all, what's carried Don through the years, his faith in the Lord.
What have you learned about him through your life, specifically living with OI?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I guess there's so many ways you can answer that question. As a teenager, we all did this thing of, that's not fair. Life is not fair. And it's not. My whole thought is, I'm glad life's not fair. Because if life was fair, then I would pay the price for my sins and not him. But he paid the price for my sins. And that wasn't fair for him, but he did it willingly. And I think when I look at something, I say that life is not fair. Well, I can look at any person in this world and find something that doesn't seem fair for them. You know, I think sometimes we talk about, what did God put me here for? Why did he give me certain skills and not other skills? I don't know. Why did he give me a disability? But maybe somewhere along the line it helps impact someone else. Maybe being able to relate to someone else.
He worked with the youth here at Mayfair. He would go on retreats with the kids, go hiking through the woods with them, and when going got rough, they'd pick him up and carry him. I'll never forget that sight, seeing that.
Don't look for what everybody else can do for me, but what can I do for somebody else? It may not be nothing more than a word of encouragement. It may be thanking somebody for the job they've done. The fact that we're disabled, it doesn't mean we can't encourage somebody else. Let somebody know that what they did for you means something.
And whenever there were setbacks, another fracture, another surgery,
I guess I began to look at events like that in my life as a crossroads. Those down times, they may be troubling, but they can redirect us if we overcome them. You just can't let those things defeat you.
And with that too, it's safe to say your life seems full now. I mean, you just mentioned you had gardening habits previously, you're swimming, you can drive, you live independently. For people who initially meet you, I mean, they might not think that's the case, but what does life look like for you really on a day-to-day basis?
I retired 6 years ago. I worked on the Redstone Arsenal for 37 years. And when I did, I said, I've got to have something to do. I'm not going to sit around and watch TV. And the swimming was part of that. I go to church at Mayfair in Huntsville, and we have a newsletter for our senior members, which I'm the editor. I do World Bible School, which is the Bible correspondence course. Occasionally I teach. So there's a lot of things that I can be involved with. If anything, if I'm guilty of anything, it's trying to be too busy.
Anything he sets his mind to do, he gives it 100% and he does very well. He has never let his disabilities be a reason for him not to try something. He just doesn't do it.
and that mindset isn't going anywhere.
What's next for you? How do you spend your days? You have new goals now?
Well, my thing really for the swimming is basically just maintaining my fitness. Whatever I do, I've got a lot of little projects that I work on, and I do the newsletter, and I'm still trying to keep that going, and I don't know, wherever God's going to take me.
Well, we can't wait to see what else is in store for your life. You have a beautiful testimony, Don, and I'm honored to call you a friend. So thank you so much for that.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the ballpark again.
Yep, we'll
Absolutely.
be there. Go Trash Pandas.
Again, Don, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We could not be any more honored to have heard it here on Tennessee Valley Living. We love you and hope and wish you the best with the rest of your beautiful, lovely life. All right, well, today on TVL, we'll make this quick. Listen, I'm not sure if you recall Lauren Pierce. She was with the Orange Blossom Bakery, came on the show a couple of months ago to show us how she makes her sourdough bread. Well, hey, she's back with two different things. Number one, she's now called the Orangery Bread Company. And today's Lauren is coming on to show us how she makes her everything bagels, which I will say this, I just discovered the hype when it comes to homemade bagels versus store-bought bagels. I know, call me slow, okay? My sister made them and they are the best thing I think I've ever had. So I'm very excited today to hear Lauren's recipe, what all she does to make it. The Orangery Bread Company perfection. You know what I'm saying? So that's around 11:15 today. Then we've got Dr. McGee with the Foot Doctor coming by yet again. Last time he came to talk about bunions when it comes to feet. Today he's talking about the diabetic foot, how to treat it, things and signs to look for, all of the things. And then unclaimed baggage out in Scottsboro coming down to Tennessee Valley Living today to play a fun game of what's in my bag. I have no idea what they're bringing, but when it comes to unclaimed baggage, we know that they have all of the fun, cool things that you just would not expect to find. So make sure you tune in around 11:45 for that interview. And that is it. That's all we have for you today. You've got 50 minutes until the show starts. So, hey, maybe make a homemade bagel in the meantime, in the 50 minutes, and then join us again at 11 a.m. for an all-new episode of Tennessee Valley Living. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all tomorrow.